Beautiful. Celestial, can you do me a favor and pull up Maxim 63X? Trump's team keeps talking about how there's this law that they're using that they never used before to come after Trump, right? Can we please hear 63X?
Yes, yes. It says judges are by no means favorable to things raised recently and
Whoa,
subtly against
whoa,
the common law.
whoa, 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 whoa. They're not what?
Judges are by no means favorable to things raised recently and subtly against the common law.
Okay, so this guy said that Trump doesn't need a jury, right? We all heard that, right?
Right.
He thinks Trump doesn't need a jury, and they got some recent statute from recent history that says that they have the power to go in and take Trump's stuff without any law, right?
Right.
So, how are they getting the power to do this?
They do not have the power. They're deceiving the people.
Okay, so when Trump's attorneys don't know this and they can't show us the fundamental law that says that this is not possible to do, are they doing favors for him?
Nope.
Not one bit.
Okay, can everybody see and understand this?
Very clearly.
Yes.
Okay, so when it comes to this judge, he said that he doesn't have to use juries, he can make the decision himself, right?
Yeah.
Everybody, please share this space. What does 63F tell us
Okay, here
in the
goes.
maxims of law?
Second. Sure, 1 second. Okay. 63F, a good judge should do nothing of his own arbitrary will, nor on the dictate of his personal inclination, but should decide according to law and justice.
Okay, so what law told him that he can just take stuff from Trump by his own will without a jury?
A statute.
Okay, and so if this isn't something that is in the common law and we don't see it as in the state constitution, where did he get that power?
From us or out of thin air.
Okay, so if he doesn't have that in law, how is he calling Trump a fraud?
The it sounds like the statutes are presuming his guilt.
Can we open up 65Y please from the maxims of law? If they're
Sure,
presuming his guilt?
1 second. Okay, 63Y. It is the duty of a judge to
No, sorry.
declare.
I'm sorry. 65Y.
Oh,
65Y.
65Y?
Please forgive me.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, 65Y. Everyone is presumed to be innocent until his guilt is established beyond a reasonable doubt.
Gotcha. So what jury?
It goes on a little bit.
Oh, go
It
ahead. I'm
says
sorry.
every uncondemned person is held by the law as innocent.
Okay, so what jury condemned Trump?
There wasn't one.
So then the judge did it by his own arbitrary will?
Yeah.
Clearly.
Holy moly. So what if the people don't know that this is in the law?
They won't know that it's all out of law. It's an outlaw thing they're doing. They
We'll
won't
be
know,
next.
recognize it.
So let me ask you this. So if a so-called judge is using a statute and he's trying to say that Trump is a fraud based on the statute, but it has not been established that he's a fraud. There's no man or woman or bank claiming that he defrauded them. Do they have jurisdiction?
No,
No.
sir.
And if they don't have jurisdiction, can somebody please read 66A for me?
Okay, 1 second. Okay. 66A, a judicial act by a judge without jurisdiction is void.
Hold
but a
on. It's void
ministerial,
now before he has to pay the money?
it is void.
Oh
Huh?
shucks.
But a ministerial act from whomsoever proceeding may be ratified.
Okay. So let's think about this. They're trying to say that he committed fraud, but there's nobody to say he committed fraud. So now a judge, by his own arbitrary will, is just doing something, which means that the judge doesn't have jurisdiction, which means the act is void on its face, and there's no such thing of a judgment against Trump is void. It doesn't exist. But they got us believing it exists, so now they went into a case against Trump with something that doesn't exist. And then they got us believing that it was a real case against Trump. So now Trump has to put up a whole bunch of money to go against it. But how much money did they have to put up to go against him with that fake statute? So, in other words, nobody's on equal footing with Trump. Nobody else. Where's their big old bond they had to put up trying to bring a case against one of the people?
Exactly.
Did they put up a $450 million bond? 350 million? Did they put that up?
No.
Uh-oh. All right, so let's go deeper. If this judge is using something that is new from recent history and he's using something without a jury, is that considered a trial by jury in a court of record?
Negative.
Okay, so let's
Absolutely
look up 63M. And I'm just
not.
going through these so you guys can get this law, and we'll keep it short and you guys can share it out.
Okay, 63M. Whatever is subject to the authority of a judge is not subject to innovation.
Wait, isn't that subject to what?
Is not subject to innovation.
So if you're acting as a judge, you wouldn't be using any stuff that's innovative, right?
No, can't do it.
Where did they get this new idea that he could do stuff without a jury and all this stuff?
It's deception, fabrication.
So we see that there's a whole bunch of okey doke happening, and people are coming against Trump with things that are new and unsettled in law. Is that legitimate? See, if we can't find what they're attacking Trump in, now a lot of people are saying they can't hear me, but Celestia is talking to me back and forth, so I'm sure she can hear me. So some people may need to go out and come back in. But when we look at them doing things that are new, right? If they're doing things that are new, it wouldn't be based on constitutional law, and it definitely wouldn't be based on fundamental law, right? And the judge only has the power to declare what the law is, and they're not to be using new things innovated, right? And God
Yes.
lets us know that you can't say that a man did something as a false witness, right?
Yes, he did say that.
Okay. So what does 64FF say?
Okay, 1 second.
And these are from the Maxims of Law, a collection of maxims from Charles A. Weissman. It has 1,600 maxims in there. That's
Did
what
you
we are
say
looking at.
63FF or
Sorry, please forgive me. 64FF.
64FF? Okay. A court can only declare what the law is.
So they can only
And
declare what the law is. So whatever the law is at that time can be declared. But they can look at what the law is at the time based on the fundamentals. So this new stuff that is not settled is not fundamental law, is not law from our history. What else do we see?
it says, and whether consistent with the law of God and the fundamental or constitutional law of society.
So should the judge be using this other stuff? Hey Pilsner, when you put the thing in the chat bubble, I mean in the jumbotron, it blocked me out the whole thing, so I can't even see the people inside.
Oh,
I can't get back in.
all right.
They're just tearing me up over here, bro. I saw you invited me to be a co-host, and they blocked me from that too.
They did
So
that. All right, I took out the jumbotron.
now I can see again. It's so crazy what they're doing here. So notice the judge has to tell what the law is, and it must be based on the fundamental law or the Constitution. What they're doing to Trump is not fundamental and is not constitutional. Can we see that?
We can see that in what they're doing to him. It represents that they can do that to us. And it's
Yes.
wrong no matter if someone's rich or poor.
Yes. See, Trump is making a mistake because he's not talking to the people about this. His attorneys are not talking to the people about this. And they're allowing him to have to pay hundreds of millions of dollars in the form of a bond to deal with the issue that's void on his face. And I'll show you guys how he can open up a case and destroy their case. They can still do the appeal if he wants to, but he can immediately open up a case and destroy them. Can somebody Can someone pull? We'll just let Celestia do it since she's here. Is this amount of a case normal? The amount they're asking for him from New York?
That's obscene.
Okay, look at 63N.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, 63N.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, 63N. The judge must see that no order be made or judgment given or sentence passed either more harshly or more mildly than the case requires. He must not seek renown, either as a severe or as a tender-hearted judge.
Now, is this guy doing what's normal for a case like this? Or is this an astronomical order?
Definitely
extreme.
out of order.
Okay, y'all, I want y'all to see that this stuff is in the law. And let me tell y'all a secret. I tried to get it to Trump's people to see that they could put in an affidavit, and the affidavit would show how it is that he could win by attacking issues that nobody wants to address and the other side can address. And when he attacks these issues, they're going to not respond. I showed you guys in the law, including his own case. I'm sorry, in 4 cases, including one of his own, that a affidavit unrebutted stands as truth. An affidavit uncontroverted stands as truth. So I wanted them to do an affidavit showing that the court did not use the common law, go against the judge, go against others, and say that they came with an attack, Letitia James and all them, came with an attack that was based on these maxims that I'm showing you guys. It was not by the common law, therefore it was illegitimate and void on his face. Using the maxims. Guys, do you see any way that they could rebut that?
No.
Now, once they failed to rebut it, I was going to tell them to go open up a court case under the rules of the common law using the affidavit he had unrebutted. Then, since nobody can rebut it, he would win. Y'all see how simple that is?
Very clear and simple.
Now, once he turns in that affidavit unrebutted, the new judge who sees it doesn't have discretion to make a decision anymore because the affidavit uncontroverted stands as truth. Now the court must accept it as truth. A lot of these Trump attorneys and Kerry Lake attorneys and different people have been losing cases because they're playing the game all the way through rather than getting rid of all the controversy first, like the Bible says, and then dealing with your adversary based on any issues left. And if you use the fundamental law and that's your attack, there's no arguments for them to have. Because a judge must tell if something is based on the fundamental law, right? So then if you go and get a trial by jury, the jury would have to make a determination as if you're using the fundamental law. Well, if we're using the maxims, guys, aren't we using the fundamental law?
Yes.
So then there's nothing to argue about, right?
Nothing.
That's simple. Watch this. I don't like to leave stuff to the discretion of a judge. Let's look up 63Q. I don't know why all these attorneys say we'll let people go to court and then they are willing to tell what they swear in front of a judge. Or we'll see if a judge will admit this as evidence. Or we'll see if the judge will hear this. I don't want to leave it up to the judge to hear a darn thing. I want him to have to accept what I say. Now I'm going to show you guys where that comes from. 63Q, what does it say?
Okay, 63Q. The law is best, which leaves least to the discretion of the judge. That judge is best who leaves least to his own opinion.
Okay, so guys, do we want to leave any room for opinion, discretion, or anything, or do we want to make the judge just accept the fundamental law? If we want to make the judge just accept the fundamental law, don't that mean we have to use the fundamental law and maxims?
Yes.
If the attorneys aren't using the fundamental law and maxims and they're just making these points, we didn't have anybody who said we did wrong. We didn't have this. We didn't have this. This doesn't seem fair. Nobody said we committed fraud against them. Why not use the maxims? They're not beatable. Y'all see this?
Yes, it's puzzling.
See, if you want cases to go on forever, you just don't use the maxims.
Then they make more money.
Yep.
Well, they don't want the maxims out though either, because that means the rest of us can use them.
Yeah, that means everybody gets bright. See, the thing for me is I don't give a darn about holding people back on their future. I tell y'all what the truth is. Now, some people don't like me and don't want to hear it because I'm different and I'm weird, right? But the truth is I'm giving you guys the stuff that wins. So if I'm giving you the stuff that wins, and we're all supposed to want to make America great, and we're all supposed to want to be free, and we want to help each other and all this stuff, then if we give each other the greatest law, what's the excuse for losing? See, the only reason the government can beat us or beat on Trump or anybody else is because they're hiding this stuff. But as soon as we know it, it's game to freak over. It's clear as day. Like, I'm giving you guys a whole court case or two or three full of knowledge and information that you can use as maxims, reading them out word for word, with Trump's people trying to speak around about the idea. Round about the idea. So in other words, you keep your sources quiet and you play around with the law and statute and you hope that somebody's going to overturn stuff. In the meantime, somebody got to pay a $400 million plus $1 million bond to take you to court over nobody. Nobody took Trump to court. There is no order that's legitimate. It's void. So he got to spend $500 million almost, including attorney money. And what he's spending to fight $500 million to make a case over a void order? Holy moly. Void things are like no things. They don't exist. Okay, so we can pretty much come to the conclusion that this judge overextended his jurisdiction, and they overextended their jurisdiction even starting when they started going into his business with no inter-party, right? Using this recently new statute that you can't do in the common law, we could pretty much come to the conclusion that he didn't have jurisdiction, right? Or he exceeded some jurisdiction he had? What do y'all think?
He exceeded it.
Seems like it.
He had no jurisdiction.
That's his money and his business. That's his property, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
He swears to protect Trump's property, but he's going after it. Him and that dumb prosecutor, right?
And if a single thing is missing, then the whole thing is void.
Uh-huh. And if you say some recent court case happened, I'll explain that too. But can somebody read 63Z?
You said 63P?
Z is in zygote.
Z.
Z is in zealous.
Zulu.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, zealous is good.
Shaka!
Okay. Yeah. 63Z, a judge who exceeds his office or jurisdiction is not to be obeyed.
Is what?
Is not to be obeyed.
Y'all know when they tried to shut down PMAs and they told us we're giving you a TRO and I laughed at them and said, screw you. We're not listening to that junk. See, if you really know the law and a dummy tries to tell you that you got to do something outside of the law, you just say, screw you, shut up. And keep going. Are attorneys telling you that? Or do they say, we got to wait, we're going to attack you with something that we don't know if it's constitutional. We have no problem with waiting. We have no problem with attacking you when we don't know if it's constitutional. But when you want to get out of our foolishness, we're going to say we got to wait until we get some recommendations from a judge. So in other words, you're going to break the law not knowing if you're constitutional and then tell us we got to wait until some dumb judge tells us what you said was unconstitutional and we didn't have to obey. What about screw you? I know the law. I know it's in the Constitution. I'm just going to ignore you. You want to take my money? No, I'm not giving you anything. I'm not paying it. Now, what if everybody knew that when somebody overextends jurisdiction, that Trump ain't got to pay? What if they knew that there was a such thing of a void order, and we're not all sitting here waiting for the next level of judges to tell us if something was right or not? We just knew for ourselves. Wouldn't that be a
We
different
would no
world?
longer be trampled.
Yeah, you couldn't pull this crap, right? Now, some people will say, well, David, I'm just saying the case law that the judge made last week said they could do that. Can you read 63Y for me so we can understand if judges are making any kind of law? I mean, I know attorneys say this dumb junk, but I just want to see if it's true.
Okay, 63Y. It is the duty of a judge to declare, enunciate the law, not to enact the law or make
So
it.
why the freak all these attorneys talking about judges make law? This is judge-made law. Shut your anus up, dude. You sound like a clown. The maxims say a judge can't make law. The Constitution say a judge can't make law. Nobody granted the power for a judge to make law. So what the freak is this stuff you talking about case law, case law, case law, where some recent stupid judge thought that he made a dang law. He thought he made a law when he made a recent decision off some bullcrap. Now y'all know y'all done heard the attorney say, you need to show me some case law, some coleslaw. Now, guys, how is it that the fundamental principles of law and the maxim says that judges can't make law or enact law, and then these people telling us there's something called case law we need to look at?
The bar attorneys, that's the way they're trained and taught.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Dave.
Yes, sir.
I gotta share this with you.
Mm-hmm.
On Saturday, I was at our county annual GOP meeting, so all the politicians for my area and my state were there, and we had a judge that was south of me, our Waukesha County judge, and he's running for Supreme Court of Wisconsin. His name is Brad Schimmel.
Mm-hmm.
So he did his little speech and whatnot to kind of introduce himself to everybody there, because he's running for Supreme Court of Wisconsin, and he was talking about juries, saying, it's a really good thing that the people of the community get involved in it, and we're proud of folks with the juries and whatnot. And he talked about jury duty for about 3 or 4 minutes, kind of like a stump speech, what have you. So he was done with his speech, and then he walked into the back of the room to kind of let everybody else speak, like the senators or whatever. So I shouldered up to him and I introduced myself in the back of the room, and I said, "Hey, just so you know, like these juries that you're talking about," I said, "we're going to have quite a few of these cases coming up with all these juries, and the ones that you're describing, these cases, are you describing cases where the juries get to judge the law and the facts?" And he goes, "No. The judge judges the law, and the juries get to judge the facts." And I said, "Really? Is that how it works?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's how it works." I'm like, "Okay, well, what kind of court cases are you talking about then?"
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what do you mean?" I said, "Now, are you talking about legislative and administrative tribunals and not judicial?" And you should have seen his face.
Uh-oh.
His face turned white, and he looked to the front of the room with his eyes as big as $50.
Mm-hmm.
And he stood there. It was uncomfortable for about 20 seconds because he knew what I was talking about. So he was frozen there, and I was standing with him all alone in the back of this room, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then I said, another question for you, sir. If you're running for the Supreme Court, it's important for me to know if you know the difference or know how many rights that we have. And he's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "So how many rights do we have as people?" He's like, "Well, I know you have a lot of them." I'm like, "How many? Do we have like 10? He's like, "Well, yeah." I'm like, "And how many more after that?" He's like, "Well, right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness." As I said, "Is that it?" He says, "What are you getting at?" I said, "We have hundreds or if not thousands of rights." I said, "We get all of the rights of all the bills and declarations of all the states. And you're going to have to know this." I said, "Because there's always catch-alls in all the state constitutions."
Mm-hmm.
And especially in the federal, where it says these just the enumeration of the rights is not to be construed or deny others retained by the people. And he's like, oh, I guess that makes sense. I'm like, well,
Makes sense. What?
the last gentleman I asked this failed this question completely. And it's important for you to know. And he's like, oh, all right, yeah, I guess I get that. And then the last thing, because we're talking about maxims, I needed to share this with you. We're talking about maxims here. I said, it was a good conversation. And then I said, just so you know, we're talking to the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
And then he really got interested. I said, have you noticed what's been going on here for the last year with all these cases getting turned over, the ATF, OSHA, administrative tribunals, Chevron doctrine, all that stuff. I said, the people have already figured out the law.
Mm-hmm.
And the Supreme Court have been trying to tell you for the last year to come correct because the shit's rolling down the stick.
Mm-hmm. Your aid is about to get got if you ain't ready.
I said, what you're going to find is everybody in the Supreme Court has finally learned that they're ruling with the historical usages and customs. And what that means is the maxims of law. And he's like, I said, you know what a maxim is? He's like, no.
Oh.
I said, well, I have the book here.
Stop jabbing people, man. You hitting people with liver punches. Bro, I try to tell people they don't know because they didn't get taught in law school on purpose, but people think I'm joking.
He's really intrigued now. I said, did you realize that last case that just ruled at 9-0, even the liberal justice ruled 9-0, that we as people can sue agencies and there's no immunity. And he's like, yeah, so he's getting really interested now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, I actually have the book of maxims here if you're interested. He's like, yeah. So I had to leave him, go get my book.
Mm-hmm.
I came back and I showed it to him. And he's like, do you mind? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. So he took a photo of the front of the maxims book.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, if you really want to know what it's all about, why don't you take a photo of the inside, pages 5 and 6, the preface. And he's like, would you mind? I'm like, absolutely not. So I put the book on the table and I held it open for him, and he took a photo of it with his cell phone, both pages.
I'm surprised he didn't jack it. I'm surprised he didn't rob me, like pull out his pistol and say, get on the floor, stop resisting, and take your book. He's like, oh shucks, a lot is happening.
It was awesome, dude. So he was pleasantly surprised that I told him all this.
Mm-hmm.
But I just needed to share that with you, man. It was
you should have gave him the book, bro. We would have bought you a new one.
Hey, the dude, if you would have read a few of them to him, he might have just decided he wasn't real and ran away like that IRS agent. You might have had him running, boy.
Dude, that IRS agent was sprinting. I told y'all. You see how gangster that IRS agent was and how he was laughing like, oh, my friends they don't care who life they destroy. They destroy everybody's life. They're the devil, I promise you. It's great. He's the devil. It's like, okay, player, you gonna mess around and find out. See, I try to tell y'all on all the spaces and all the classes because there's some fake space holders who sit up and try to tell you that we're slaves and there's nothing we could do and the government is destroying us and America went to hell in a handbasket and they just don't want you to have hope because they're not here to help you win. And they say stuff like, well, the government has made us slaves and we're done for and there's nothing we could do. I just don't get it. Well, how can we stand if they got guns and police and they're just so rough to us, right? I'm not talking about phenomenology. But anyway, they try to play that game, right? But then the very first time you see one of the baddest mamma jammas around, an IRS agent, get caught in front of the people, please make sure you don't tell him my name. Don't tell him my name, please. Don't tell him my name. I'm a gangster. I want to take everybody's money. I go into your account, do whatever I want to do. AI is going to get you. But then as soon as he gets hit with some fire, please don't tell him my name. Just don't do that, please. And then that name gets out and somebody runs up on him. No, I'm a track star. Now, if the wicked ain't afraid of the people, y'all, why the freak would this dude run a whole mile? This dude ran like he was, what's that dude's name? Owens? Not Terrell Owens. What's that track guy name from back in the day?
Jackie Owens.
Yeah, My man, no, that's the baseball player, ain't it? He's out here like Jackie Joyner Kersey. My man is out here. He's out here like FloJo. He was flying. I said, I ain't never seen a dude this fast.
And
This
he wasn't
dude,
even in danger,
no,
Dave.
this
He wasn't
dude,
even. I mean, he was asking him questions.
this dude's shoes was smoking. I said, gosh darn, this dude is flying, man. Look, that dude should have got one of them dang red light tickets he was running so fast. My man ran by that truck, popped up like 45. Now, this is what I'm telling y'all. Do you know how bad it is when the people realize that you said something is unconstitutional and they did it anyway? He did it anyway, knowing it was unconstitutional. Told people, then he finds out, holy moly, it just came out that I'm ripping people off, people killing themselves, their grandmother's life is ruined, and this dude got busted, and now it's known that everything he did was wrong and his face is shown. See, this is why the so-called brilliant and bad anus attorneys talking all this stupid junk don't want to come live with us and let their voice be heard and their face be seen. It's not because they don't have time for us. It's because they know if you bring your dumb anus in front of us, we're going to run you over with the basic law in front of everybody, and you're going to be found out. You're going to be naked before everybody, right? The emperor will wear no clothes when you make the mistake and come before us, the people. This is why I told you guys will know the law better than the Harvard or the Yale graduate, right? I wasn't lying. I'm telling y'all, right? This is why angry fleas won't show their face. This is why Mr. Mark Elias won't bring his clown anus on here. Dershowitz won't bring his clown anus out in the open and have a discussion with us. He will hide and act like he didn't see 50. He will answer 15 messages around us, right? But he dang sure ain't gonna answer the one where we're saying, bring your clown anus on live and let's talk. This is why Carrie Lake's people will not come talk live. Her dirty attorney Blim. None of them will talk before us live because they know the moment you talk to one of us in front of anybody, you've destroyed yourself. Right? Because we gonna come with the truth, we gonna come with the facts, and they know we know the law better than anybody. Y'all know what happened to me the other night? I sent out my emails, right? For the new sign up because I'm consolidating all the websites and I'm putting everybody under Restore My Republic. So you guys got to go into your email and accept being added to my new list, right? Some of y'all don't like me. I don't give a freak, but some of y'all do, right? So if you do, just add your email, right? Check your spam and all that garbage, right? But what's funny is this lady saw me. She sent me a message. She said, "Hey, Dave, I was just talking to Carrie Lake about my case in New Hampshire. I want you to come back on my show." And Carrie Lake showed me her case and how you helped her to get standing. And I wanted to know if you can help me. So I actually have the email from the lady telling me that Carrie Lake told her how I got her standing. Just letting y'all see Carrie Lake ain't gonna come out and talk about that in real life because number one, if Carrie Lake lets it be known that she's admitting that I helped her, then what it does is it builds the power of the people because the people will then trust in what I'm saying even more. Because when big names confirm, oh shucks, yeah, Dave did this, right? When the businesses say Dave helped us win, there's nobody who can fight that. So the bad actors have to say dumb stuff like, "Well, just show us inside of a court where they said you beat the crap out of them, Dave, and we need to say a court order that says Dave whooped their anus." The 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 people ain't important, right? They don't want to hear from the people who say I did it. They want a judge to say, "You caught me breaking the law against you," which is what I do, right? But I'm letting you guys see that we, the people, without government, win all the dang time, right? Y'all look in New Hampshire. I'm sure a lot of y'all saw the New Hampshire legislator get moved to do a committee by the guy named Chris Noyes in personam jurisdiction, right? So this guy and the people in his state and some of you guys in other states taught the dang legislature in Chris's state and got them to do a committee going against CPS, and y'all taught them the law to do it. And this has never happened before in America. And this is what I keep telling y'all. A lot of people keep saying to me, "Well, you know what, Dave, nobody has ever done this or that before. And Dave, nobody else got an audit before. And Dave, nobody saved a whole bunch of businesses as non-attorney before. Dave, this never happened and that never happened. Well, people keep telling me stuff that never happened that we do. So Chris just moved moved the state to do a committee, and it's on the public record now. The woman came on a video and she said the people sent her notices and affidavits and moved her to go and do an inquiry against CPS. And now they're investigating CPS, and they opened up a committee on behalf of the people. Guys, if you go back to the early 1800s, I can show you where in that same state that people would do a petition to the legislature for an issue and get the dang legislature to carry out a task and open a committee. I'm just showing y'all this is what happens in real life if you know the law. So, with that being said, guys, that's all I wanted to bring today over the Trump issue. I wanted to keep this space kind of short if it's possible, in order to be able to get the word to other people so that you guys can share with your friends. A lot of you guys like to break it up in pieces and cut it up, of course. But the space is now with you guys. It's with Pilsner. And hopefully you guys can get the truth and the word out. All these things that Trump attorneys are talking about, it is defined in law, in the fundamental law. And the last thing, if Trump wants to attack the case that already happened, right? The case that came against Trump was not under the common law. So the facts, if you just look at Article 7 of the Bill of Rights, federal, Amendment 7, Trump can actually do a case under the common law with a trial by jury, and that jury hearing the facts under the common law will automatically nullify everything that the other people are doing against him. Now, if y'all don't believe me, we can actually read it. If somebody wants to pull up the Bill of Rights in the United States Constitution, 7th Amendment, or the 7th Article, let's see what it says. Anybody want to pull up that smoke?
Dave, you said Article 7?
So it's going to be the 7th Amendment, which is the 7th Article of the Bill of Rights.
Yeah, I got you.
In the United States Constitution. Now watch this,
Yeah,
y'all. We're going to hear what the case can be heard by and what happens when it's heard by. And this case is definitely more than this amount of money. So let's hear what it says.
Yeah, it's a little more. Text of Amendment 7 in suits at common law.
In suits at common law.
Where the value in controversy shall exceed $20. The right of trial by jury shall be preserved.
So it's guaranteed. So they didn't give Trump a trial by jury, and it wasn't a common law case, but Trump can open up a common law case, do an affidavit first, let the affidavit get seasoned in the amount of days he gives them, add that as evidence into the case and show that they went against him with the case that's not the common law, and then he can have all the facts reheard in a court of record. Keep going.
And no fact tried by a jury.
No fact tried by a jury. See, they went against him with a trial that was not by jury, right? So now you take their clown anus to trial with a trial by jury under the common law, and look what happens. Go ahead.
And no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court.
You can't re-examine it in what?
Any court.
Even the Supreme Court?
It says any court of the United States.
Any court of the United States. Trump could destroy their whole case by doing an affidavit real quick, then opening up a case in the trial by jury in a court of record under the common law. He could block every other court in the world from ever rehearing the facts. They never heard the facts before. Keep going.
Then shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States, then according to the rules of the common law.
There you go. So he can establish it in the common law, destroy it forever. Nobody could block him unless they use the common law, and they won't be able to rehear the facts. Or guess what? That statute they used against him was not based on the common law. These clowns trying to call it equity. He could just destroy all the facts, but his attorneys don't want to, I guess. It'd be super easy and super fast. You ain't got to put up $550 billion to tear their anus up with hearing it under the common law. All they got to do is go against you for $20. You can open up a regular old case and destroy their facts for cheap. For cheap. For cheap.
Bro, it's so dirty. Now that I see it, I just don't. Bro.
Dude, Trump could destroy these Negroes for less than a Happy Meal.
Well, you know how, like, if something costs a lot, sometimes we get this psychological trick played on us where we think it's more valuable or better, somehow just because it costs more. Maybe that's something like we're dealing with. It's something psychological and spiritual.
Man,
For sure.
I tried to open up the door. The attorney's blocking. I can see why. Because
Hey, say you'll do $1,000 a minute and see if it'll be like, oh man, that must be good. Let me buy that.
Dude, his attorneys ain't gonna let him hear from me. This junk is right in the Constitution. He could do a court case against them and rehear all the facts under the common law. They didn't use the common law. He's tripping. His attorneys are freaking tripping.
Black
Now
and
notice
white.
let me tell you what these dummies said. If you watch the news media and the big attorneys in the world now, they're saying if Trump can have this case heard and win on constitutional things as long as it was covered in the first trial. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear them saying that? See, they're already psychologically putting it in your mind that if Trump didn't cover this in the first case, he loses. So you guys will start accepting it. But it was a void order in the first place. It doesn't stand. He can attack it using the common law and a trial by jury and break their back, right? Dude can open up a cheap freaking case tomorrow, ask for a trial by jury under the no, I'm sorry. He could do an affidavit, give them 7 days to answer, let them ignore him because they can't answer, and then at that eighth or ninth day, open up a case under the common law. He still wouldn't be at his 30 days, right? That he can open up the case under the common law and use that court under the common law to make an order to shut down the freaking statutory case that they're attacking him with. I'm just telling you.
So what he would swear to it in his case would be that, you guys didn't have jurisdiction. Is that what he's challenging?
He'll say all the maxims I just showed y'all. Y'all didn't have jurisdiction. Y'all went beyond jurisdiction. Y'all didn't use the common law. Y'all used the statute, y'all used the statute, not the common law. You used what you call equity under a statute that gave you special permission to attack a business, which means that you went after my property, my property and my liberty to do business in your state, which you already swore to in the state constitution. Therefore, you did not follow the common law. And then he could use that case, give a trial by jury. The jury can hear the facts and the law if they make that the law of the case. And then it'll destroy their case under the common law. The jury will be able to see the real truth and see that they're lying. They probably would try to get out of the case, kill their other case, and try to wipe everything away before his case is even done. And I'm just telling y'all how it be.
Yeah.
Now, look, I just showed it to y'all what he could do, right? I just showed y'all in simple law that you can have things heard under the common law and they can't go against it in any other court except for by the rules of common law. So all this equity bull they're talking ain't no equity when you're a government official attacking the trust. I'm a beneficiary of the trust. Trump is a beneficiary. You're attacking a beneficiary when nobody got hurt. That's against the rules of the trust. You can't do that. Right? Game over. Now, let's just be real, guys. All the government workers in the nation, Letitia James and the courts, they're all agents of the people. They're agencies. They can be sued. They're just agents. That's all they are. Substitutes. They don't have a right to do things outside the Constitution or they could be held liable. They could be sued too. They just been hiding it from y'all. Y'all gonna find that out in a little while though. But anyway, that's all I got for y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed it and it made sense to you. Play it back and listen to it if you didn't catch it all. I know I'm stuttering to some people, but that's the system tearing us up.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me on.
Dave, thanks for coming in. I know, God's adversary likes to put flies and jump into vans where you're not there and destroy spaces. And so there's been a lot of trouble. People, trying to listen to this
Mm-hmm.
space, I could hear. So I just want people to know, hey, recording, it might be fun, and but people are just having a lot of
Oh yeah.
trouble.
Well, Pilsner, anywhere I go, I look like they're following me. So, so I want to thank you for being wise enough to open open a space because I was just going to stop. So I thank you for even opening the space for the people to be able to hear the truth. You are a blessing, bro.
It's all God. Like we all know, God's doing this stuff. And I threw co-host to you, I threw it to Denise and Clint, and then Summer. And 1 out of 4, it worked with Summer for some
Well, I'm
reason.
going to show you guys.
So
I'll put it in the chat bubble what it told me when I tried to get into the space. So watch this. Dang it, it's not even letting me click on stuff well. Okay, watch this. So this is what I'm getting when I try to accept co-host. Can y'all see that? Isn't that dirty? It never did that before. Oh wait, see it now. Can y'all see that picture?
I'm looking. I don't see it yet.
It should be showing. But I posted it, you guys will be able to see soon.
Hey guys, the faster way to see some of this stuff than scroll through all those comments is just click on Dave's profile and then go to
Yeah,
replies.
that's how I do it. I just when Dave's
Because
speaking,
there's like hundreds
he
of
says go.
comments. Pilsner and everybody dropping all the stuff in there, so it's hard to get through.
Yeah.
Yeah, just Dave's page, and then go to replies,
Y'all gotta forgive me. I kind of
refresh.
suck because I don't know how to do a lot of stuff. One day, if God let me live, I'll let y'all teach me how to do how to be how to do things that are smart because I do things the dumb way.
Nah, you just stay
No,
right the freak where you are, man. Don't change a damn thing,
yeah,
please. We'll handle what you need
yeah.
on the outside.
You let us do all.
Uh oh.
Oh, he's
You let us
on.
do that stuff, and then you keep teaching us the law, because that's the stuff I don't know unless I hear it from you. I'm picking it up. I'm a bit slow, but I'm getting it after a year of listening to you. I think I got a little bit of it now.
You guys are killing it, man. You guys are killing it. But I'm gonna give y'all the mic. I'm gonna try to get myself going and get my thoughts right. I gotta come out. I gotta finish that notice I was supposed to do the other day, and I have to help some people with some documents and possibly a couple of PMAs for some people who got some real big issues. Got to talk to a blessed man today and see the wrongs the government are doing against him, and I kind of got righteously indignant. So I'm kind of mad today over what they did.